Hi everyone, my name is Kaylie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Okay everybody, so I'm not even gonna say it because you guys are tired of hearing me say it, but I think I mentioned in the last video that everything's back on track. I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, this week has been probably one of the worst weeks that I've had in such a long time. Like, the absolute freaking worst. Like, after I'm done with today's story time, I'm going to go take my makeup off and curl back up into bed, and it's like 12 o'clock. I mean, on a lighter note, I did learn how to French braid and Dutch braid, which is cool. I just need to learn how to braid back. But anyways, wrecked my car again. It's not a shock at this point. I'm just so dumb that it hurts. Like, it's physically painful. Anyways, okay, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I'm going to bring you guys up close. There we go. Okay, so my face is probably all red and puffy because I was crying, but we're just gonna ignore that, okay? Anyways, I do not know if today's story time is going to be a long or short one. I went over it, but I'm not sure. But before we get into today's story time, I'm gonna do my usual rundown for anybody who might be new here. For most of the video, I will be looking in this direction because my mirror's over here and I would like to see what I'm doing. I do tell these story times in a first person point of view. If you don't like that, then you can leave, and these story times are sent in by anonymous people. Why do I feel like I'm forgetting one? Okay, so story time about why I decided to take my best friend's man. This one sounds like it's gonna be interesting. So I was 17 and a sophomore in high school. So my best friend Ashley and I had met whenever we were in 8th grade, and her and I despised each other when we first met. Like, we literally hated each other, but not in the way that you would think. Like, we would never argue or threaten to fight each other, you know? There was just a problem between us that we never addressed and never openly talked about. In all honesty, we had never even said one word to each other ever in our entire lives. You know how when you see someone and you just like know that you're not gonna like them right off the bat? That's kind of how this was with Ashley and I. But ever since that day, everything between us was a competition. Like, who had the newest clothes, who the boys liked the most, who had the most friends. Which, it was kind of hard to compete with each other at the end of the day because we were both super pretty, number one. Number two, we had a lot of friends because pretty much everybody wanted to be friends with us. And number three, and every boy that liked me also liked her. Every boy that liked her also liked me. But fast forward to the beginning of our freshman year, her and I were put into a class together where neither of us knew anybody else, so we decided that we were gonna sit next to each other because the desks were put in like rows of 2 next to each other, right? And for the first month in this class, we still had not said one word to each other. We wouldn't even look at each other. We would literally just ignore each other the whole time. But eventually, her and I were forced to talk to each other because when you sit at the same table, you are automatically partners with the person that you sat next to for the rest of the semester because that ends up being your assigned seat. So at that point, you know, we had been working on projects together and everything like that, so we became fake friends. Okay, pretty much meaning that we would be super nice to each other's faces and then go back and talk the most shit about each other to everybody. And we both knew it was happening, we just didn't care. Well, pretty much there was a project that had to be done at home. So eventually we started going over each other's houses and bam, next thing you knew, we were best friends. And since her and I became best friends, we both started hanging out with each other's friend groups and everything just mixed. So it was good. And I would say the funniest part about all of this, to be honest, was the fact that all of our friends, like both of our friend groups, were friends with each other, okay? It was just Ashley and I who didn't like each other. And technically, since our friends in our friend group had been friends with us first, they kind of had to respect that in a way, you know? Like, her friends wouldn't talk to me and my friends wouldn't talk to Ashley. But I actually got along really well with all of her friends, and she got along well with a few of my friends. 2 of them hated the fact that I decided to become friends with her in the first place, so they kind of had like a grudge against her. So there were 9 of us in total now in this friend group, and I started to get to know her friends really well because we would all sit at the same lunch table. But eventually I started feeling really bad, okay? Because I felt like her friends started to hang out with me more instead of Ashley. Like, they would ask me to hang out all the time. For example, the one night I'm over at Ashley's house, and the night before, Sydney had texted the group chat asking if everyone was good to come over her house for tonight while I'm at Ashley's. So eventually 9 o'clock rolls around, I ask Ashley, I'm like, hey, are you ready to go to Sydney's? And she's like, what are you talking about? And then that's whenever I had checked the group chat and I realized that Ashley wasn't even in that group chat. Okay, so this part is tricky, so try to keep up. Ashley's best friend, Sydney, or now her ex-best friend, Sydney, because I'm Ashley's new best friend, created this group chat, right? And I thought that whenever she created it, she just added everybody in together now that we all started hanging out. But instead of putting literally everybody in the group chat, she didn't put Ashley in the group chat. She completely left this bitch to the curb. She was like, bye, sis. So when I realized this, I texted Sydney and I was like, hey, can Ashley come? And also, should I add her to our group chat? I just realized she isn't in there. And she was like, I'd rather her not come tonight, in all honesty. She was like, she's been getting on Kathy, Alexa, and I's nerve for the past like 2 weeks. And I did create a group chat with her in it. I just also created one without her in it because sometimes she's just too much to handle. And I decided that I was going to try to be a good friend, right? And I told Ashley about the situation and I'm like, hey, I didn't know that you were in the group chat, but Sydney said they wanted everybody to come over tonight except for you, but I'm just gonna stay here because I think that's a little bit fucked up. And this of course made Ashley really upset and she started crying, like hyperventilating, and she was like, if you're a real friend, you won't go, because if you go, I will never ever ever forgive you or ever speak to you again. Damn, a little bit dramatic. Okay. And then before I could even get my answer out, sis is like, you planned this the whole time, didn't you? Like, this psycho bitch. She said, this was your plan the whole time, so you could steal my friends and I wouldn't have anybody, which was not true in the slightest. I actually really liked Ashley at first. Like, I really did. She was such a cool person to be around and hang out with, but of course she decided to make it look like I was the bitch in the situation. And then she was like, you know what, go, because this is the entire reason why I knew I shouldn't have been friends with you in the first place. So after that, I did try to talk with her and reason with her, but she ended up locking herself in her bathroom and she ignored me, so I said, fuck it, I'm going to Sydney's. I don't care anymore. And when I got to Sydney's house, I had told her what happened and they were like, oh, don't worry, she'll get over it. This is exactly what we meant whenever we said she's too much to handle sometimes. And then Kathy was like, yeah, the other day we were going to hang out with this guy that she liked and 2 of his friends, and I did my makeup, and when I got to Ashley's house, she accused me of trying to steal her man who wasn't her man because I put on makeup. So at this point, I didn't know if I wanted to keep being friends with Ashley or not, because all of my life I had drama with girls. This was the first time, like before I started being friends with Ashley, that was the first like year that I was finally drama free and I just had my friend group. Like, I've had the jealous friends and everything like that. I don't need that in my life, so I decided to cut her off. So after I decided to keep my distance, I also decided that I wanted to keep my distance from her friends. Like, her friends were super nice, but if they could be friends with Ashley, I don't think I want to be friends with them. I'm not saying that they would have to cut Ashley off for us to be friends, but I'm saying if they could deal with someone who's that drama filled, then clearly I don't need them in my life either, because they're also just as involved in the drama as she was. Fast forward a month later, I get a text from Ashley. This message pretty much said that she was hurt because of the way that I acted. She thought that I would have reached out to her, but her exact wording was literally, I figured I would be the bigger person and apologize. Like, yeah, that, it doesn't sound like being the bigger person. Like, do you want a cookie for apologizing for acting like a fucking psycho? No. Sorry, babes. Does not work like that. So I did end up forgiving her, but I also still decided that I was going to keep my distance. Like, I just wouldn't hang out with her as much, and I wouldn't be as close as we were before. So like a week after that, she invited me to go to a cookout at Alexa's house with all the girls and a few of their guy friends from a different school. So after school on Friday, we all go to Alexa's house and we get ready for the boys to come, and we all changed into our bathing suits because Alexa had a pool and we all planned on going swimming. And I want to say 30 minutes before the boys are supposed to be there, I hear Ashley in the bathroom complaining to Alexis, and then all of a sudden we all hear Alexa slam the door, and she comes out and she's like, I cannot deal with her right now. And when we ask her what happened, she's like, well, she decided she didn't want to put on a tampon today, so she bled through her bathing suit. And I guess whenever Alexa tried to give her another bathing suit, she had a problem with that because apparently it was an ugly bathing suit, and how it's not fair that all of us get to wear super cute bikinis. And Kathy also borrowed one of Alexa's bikinis because she had slept over her house the night before. So Ashley was also complaining about that too. This girl just like literally never stops fucking complaining. The world has to revolve around her 24/7. Like, it got to the point where she was begging Alexa to take her back to her house to get a different bathing suit. She lived like 20 minutes away. So at that point, Alexa said, you're either gonna put the fucking bathing suit on, or you're gonna get dressed in different clothes, or you can take an Uber home. So of course after that, she shut up. Well, when the boys got there, I started talking to them, and there was this one boy who literally followed me around like a damn dog. Like, he would not leave me alone. But then again, he was also super cute, so I really was not that mad. And there were 6 guys and 9 of us girls, because literally everybody was there. But I was getting a lot of attention from all but like 3 of the boys. So I had 4 boys like at my beck and call pretty much. Anytime I needed help with anything, they were right there. If I was going in the pool, they were going in the pool. If I was going in the house to get food, they were going in the house to get food. And then I want to say like 2 hours later, Sydney comes up to me and she says, hey, Ashley's like really upset right now. And when I asked why, she said it was because one of the boys that she really likes has been following me around the whole night, aka the one that was literally up my fucking ass. Even though all of them were up my ass, it was the one who was literally like breathing down my neck all night, the one that I told you about earlier. Okay, and then I look over at Ashley. She's sitting in one of the chairs on her phone, and it looks like she's about to cry. So I go over there and I try to talk to her, but she's like, no, go over there with your friends. She's like, you don't have to come over here acting like you're better than me, okay? Like, I know you're better than me. You don't have to rub it in my face. Like, oh my god, like, sis, stop throwing yourself a fucking pity party. Anyways, I'm super weirded out and confused because that's not at all what I was doing. I literally just asked her if she was okay. So at that point, I tell everybody that I'm not feeling good and I'm going home. And before I leave, all of the boys are asking me for my phone number and just my Snapchats and everything like that. But I just decided to leave and not give anybody my information or anything like that because of how Ashley was acting. So fast forward a few weeks, Sydney eventually tells me that Ashley has a boyfriend. And when I asked who it was, she said that it was the guy at the party who was following me around. And then she was like, we're all supposed to go to the movies tonight. Do you want to come? And I thought that it would be a good idea because I haven't seen Ashley in a while, and you know, maybe this would be good for us. So I say yes, thinking nothing of it. And when Sydney and I get there, I say hi to everybody, and then I go to say hi to Ashley, and she gives me the dirtiest fucking look in the world, and then she grabs her boyfriend's arm. We're just gonna call this kid Jordan, okay? She grabs Jordan's arm, and when she saw me walking over to her, she literally, here, I'll like reenact it in a second. She grabs him and yanks him this way and starts toward the movie theater. Like, girl, what the actual? And then Sydney looks at me and she's like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. She doesn't want you guys to see each other because she knows that Jordan still really likes you. So now I'm kind of pissed off at Sydney because like, why the fuck would you invite me if like you knew this is what was gonna happen? So then I asked her, I'm like, then why did you invite me in the first place? And she was like, hey, don't be mad at me. Ashley's the one spreading these rumors around. And when I asked what rumors, she says that I want to be just like her and I go after every guy that she's ever dated. And now she's saying that I've been trying to get with Jordan ever since the cookout, even though he doesn't want me. Whatever. So at this point I decided to cut Ashley off for good. Okay, like she was like, cut the fuck off. No friends, no nothing, no strings attached, kind of. So I want to say like a week later, somebody named Jordan adds me on Snapchat. And I didn't know that it was the same Jordan. I mean, I had an inkling, but I didn't know this kid too well, so I didn't even know if that was like his username or whatever. Anyways, okay. So it ended up being the kid who still has a crush on me. And I know that him and Ashley are still together because I still hang out with Sydney and she tells me all the tea. Anyway, so after I added him back, he sent me a message saying, oh my god, like I've been looking for your Snapchat forever, LOL, or just some way to get in contact with you. I had a lot of fun at Alexa's cookout and I just wanted to know if you would maybe want to hang out some other time. So I decided to be like a good person, you know, and I took screenshots and I sent them to Ashley and I'm like, hey, just want you to know Jordan sent me this on Snapchat. And she texted me back saying, okay, well, can you block him? Like, not a please, not a thank you, nothing, just, okay, can you block him? And of course I said yes because I don't want Jordan's ugly ass. Like, I really don't. He's fugly. It is what it is. So fast forward, the one night I'm having a sleepover with Sydney and, you know, we're just doing normal girly things. We're doing face masks, we're doing each other's makeup and hair, when Sydney gets a text from Ashley and she's like, oh my god, you'll never guess what just happened. And she's like looking at me wide-eyed and she goes, Jordan just broke up with Ashley because he still really likes you. And I think that Ashley underestimated how close Sydney and I were. So yeah, anyways, she calls Sydney and of course Ashley doesn't know that I'm over Sydney's house, so Sydney tells me to be quiet and she answers the phone. When she put the phone on speaker, all I could hear was Ashley screaming and crying. She's like, I'm so fucking done right now. Like, Jordan just fucking broke up with me because he still likes that skank. And Sydney goes and she's like, well, like, why? How did he break up with you? She was like, he said it's because I made her, aka me, block him. And Sydney's like, well, maybe this is a good thing because he did send her that message and you don't want to be with someone like that. And Ashley goes, shut the fuck up, Sydney. This isn't a good fucking thing because now she's gonna unblock Jordan and Jordan and her are gonna start dating. Like, girl, shut the hell up. Like, damn. Like, she tries so hard to be me and it's fucking ridiculous. I don't understand what her fascination is with me. Okay, hon. And just when we thought things couldn't get any worse, Sydney's mom comes in the room and she tells me that I need to call my mom because my mom is trying to get a hold of me. And Ashley goes, do not tell me that fucking bitch is at your house. And the phone is just like dead silent. And then she yells, oh my god, she fucking is. Hangs up the phone. And I thought that was gonna be it. Like, I thought that she was just pissed off at Sydney, so she was just like, all right, fuck it, I'm not gonna be on the phone with you. Click and call. Until an hour later when Ashley is banging on the fucking front door. And Sydney's mom is fucking pissed. She comes upstairs and she was like, one of you better get her before I drag her myself. So I was like, okay, like, you know, so we walk down the stairs and Sydney and I go outside, and as soon as we shut the front door, Ashley comes up to me and punches me literally like right in the eye. Like, directly in the fucking eye. Fast forward, Sydney tells her, you better leave before I call the cops. So she leaves, and the next morning I wake up with a fucking black eye. So at that point I decided I'm done playing nice, okay? So I unblock Jordan and I ask him if he wants to hang out. While we're hanging out, I tell him the whole story of what happened, right? And he was like, yeah, I could tell from the start that she was like a crazy fucking bitch, all she would do is talk about you, like she has an obsession with you. And then I asked her if he would help me get back at her. And of course he said yes, which is what I was expecting anyways. So I pretty much made this plan for like him to get back together with her, and him and I would secretly be hooking up, you know, and then when she found out, she would be so upset, da 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 da. And the reason why I was okay with this was because I didn't like Jordan. I really fucking didn't. After I was done with this, I was gonna throw both of them away in the fucking trash where they belonged. And I know you're probably wondering why Jordan, because don't think I forgot that he tried to cheat on Ashley with me. He's like gum on the bottom of my shoe. Ew. Fast forward a month later, Jordan is over at Ashley's house, and I tell him that I'm gonna like blow up his phone with a bunch of text messages, and then whenever she asks who it is, he's just gonna say nobody, and then he's gonna go to the bathroom, leave his phone open, and then she'll go through his phone and see that it's me. So he does just that, and because Ashley's an insecure little bitch, she does exactly what I wanted her to do, and she went through the whole phone. I was getting like notification after notification after notification that like screenshots were being taken in the Snapchat message thing. So that meant that she saw all the pictures of us kissing. But whenever Jordan came out of the bathroom, he texted me and he was like, she didn't say shit. And I was like, okay, well that's weird because she literally took screenshots of fucking everything. So I was like, all right, just tell her that you're cheating on her. So once again, he does just that. And she said that she forgives him and she just really doesn't want to break up. Like, she doesn't want the relationship to be over. So the next day, Jordan usually will go and pick up Ashley and take her to school. But instead, today I had a plan that he wasn't going to pick her up first. He was going to pick me up, and he wasn't even going to tell Ashley that he wasn't going to pick her up or anything. So she would be standing there looking stupid waiting for him. And then when we get to school, my locker is like right next to Ashley's. So we go to my locker and we're just standing there like, you know, holding hands, talking to each other, you know. I'm trying to make it look like I'm not disgusted by this kid. And then Ashley walks to her locker. She looks past her locker and sees us. So then I tell Jordan to go over to her and tell her that like he's done with her. And he does. He goes over there and he's like, I don't want to be with you anymore. Like, I've always liked her. I've never liked you, Ashley. Like, I want to break up with you. Like, pretty much crushed her soul, literally. And she starts bawling her eyes out, and Jordan walks back over to me. And that's whenever I looked at him and I told him, I never really liked you in the first place. And then I walked away. But somehow I'm the bad guy in this situation, which maybe I was. I don't know if I took things too far, but I honestly thought that I was going to have a real friendship with Ashley, but she's the one who let her insecurities get in the way of us being true friends. So at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck. Anyways, they ended up getting back together like a week later, and he's still a piece of shit who cheats on her, and he even will still slide into my DMs once in a while. So you know what? Moral of the story, once a cheater, always a cheater. Okay, everybody, that is the end of today's story time. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of me, maybe hit that subscribe button. Also, if you guys want to send in your anonymous story time, make sure to click the link down below in the description. Also, if you want to keep up with me on any of my other social medias, those will also be linked down below. But other than that, I will see you guys next Saturday with a new video.